There's a very specific feeling you get inside a basketball arena. When a team just isn't in sync, you can see it in the way the players move. You hear it in the restless murmurs from the crowd. And you notice it in the way the ball moves slowly, almost mechanically, around the floor. For the first 3 minutes of Team USA's game against Italy, that exact feeling hung over the court. The offense looked stuck. What we were watching was a group of the best women's basketball players in the world, looking surprisingly ordinary, struggling to find any rhythm against an international defense. They would normally break down with ease. The scoreboard said 5-5. Just 5 points in 3 minutes for an offense that's supposed to be explosive. It was a slow and concerning start, and it had people wondering the same thing. How long is Team USA going to keep rolling with this starting lineup experiment? For a while now, the basketball establishment has been pushing a certain idea. The message has been that experience matters most, that slower half-court basketball is the safest approach internationally, and that Caitlin Clark should simply wait her turn behind the veteran players. But in this matchup with Italy, that narrative started falling apart right in front of everyone. The starting lineup was being tested and it wasn't working. The offense lacked energy. Chelsea Gray, one of the best floor generals in the game, was running the system. But the pace felt slow and predictable. The unpredictability and speed needed to crack Italy's defense just weren't there. The game started turning into a slow, grinding battle. Possessions dragged on. The rhythm never came. Then a clear decision happened on the Team USA bench. Head coach Kara Lawson was away handling her college responsibilities during March Madness, which meant assistant coach Nate Tibbetts was running the team that night. Looking at the stall defense and the scoreboard that wasn't moving much, Tibbetts made a decision that any analytical basketball mind might make in that situation. 3 minutes into the first quarter, he looked down the bench and called for number 22. What happened next wasn't just a small shift in momentum. It completely changed the direction of the game. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the floor, Team USA had only scored 5 points. Over the next 6.5 minutes of the first quarter, with Clark running the offense, the team exploded for 23 points. It's worth repeating because the numbers are wild. 5 points in the first 3 minutes without her. 23 points in the next 6.5 minutes with her. The offense didn't just look a little better. It transformed. The moment Clark started controlling the ball, the spacing on the floor completely changed. Italy's defenders, who had been comfortable packing the paint and guarding the passing lanes, suddenly had a new problem. They had to extend their defense far beyond the three-point line because of Clark's shooting range. And the second they stretched out like that, Team USA's offense started flowing. Interview 3.
Let's get this going. Let me just... misdirection, backdoor, take it to the rack, layup. Folks, look at the score actually. 5-5. We only scored 5 points in the first 3 minutes of this game.
The brilliance of this particular play shows exactly what people mean when they say a player can change the entire system of an offense. Clark has the ball at the top and every defender is watching her. They're worried about a deep three. They're expecting a pick and roll. Instead, she uses a little misdirection. With just a quick glance and subtle movement, she shifts the defense enough to open a tiny window along the baseline. A teammate cuts backdoor at the perfect moment, and Clark threads a pass right past the defense for an easy layup. That's more than simply passing to someone who's open. That's actively manipulating the defense to create the opening in the first place. In that moment, she's thinking several steps ahead. But even though the first quarter surge was impressive, the real story of this game showed up later when Clark had to return to the bench. During the second and third quarters, the coaching staff went back to their normal rotation. Clark sat for stretches, likely to manage her minutes. But the offense immediately slowed down again. Without her presence stretching the defense, Italy was able to tighten things up. The floor shrank. Passing lanes disappeared. Fast break opportunities dried up. Possessions turned into tough, contested shots late in the shot clock. The numbers during that stretch tell the story clearly. Across the second and third quarters, Team USA only outscored Italy by 7 points. It turned into a grind. Every basket required effort. The offense leaned heavily on individual plays instead of flowing movement. The team looked human again. Then the fourth quarter arrived. That's when the coaching staff finally rolled out the lineup many fans had been waiting to see. Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, and Kelsey Plum sharing the floor together. Interview.
But go behind the back here. In between the legs. Let me stop, hold on. Turn around. Fade away. In your face. Eat that.
If anyone still doubts Clark's ability to break down defenders one-on-one, this next sequence is worth watching closely. Critics sometimes say she relies too much on the three-point shot, or that she doesn't have the tight handle of a traditional point guard. But here, she shows the full package. She's isolated on the perimeter. First, she goes behind the back to freeze the defender. Then she shifts into a between-the-legs dribble to reset her rhythm. In one quick motion she stops, rises up, and hits a turnaround fadeaway jumper right over the defender. The footwork is clean, the mechanics are smooth, and the release is incredibly quick. It's the kind of shot that frustrates defenders because they can play solid defense and still watch the ball drop through the net. Clark isn't just a shooter, she's a complete scoring threat. But the fourth quarter wasn't only about scoring moves. It also showed something important about team chemistry, especially with all the online talk about tension between certain players. There has been a lot of chatter about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark supposedly not getting along. Clips have been analyzed endlessly online with people trying to create drama. But the game itself told a different story.
She said some nice, yup, free up some space. Step back, signature Caitlin Clark 3. With the step back going left. Angel Reese actually excited about it, if you can believe it. If you can believe it, look at all that space. Pull up, bang, to end the quarter. Now Angel Reese bricks this.
Watch the teamwork in this moment. Angel Reese, the same player some people claim doesn't like playing with Clark, sets a powerful screen. It's a hard, physical pick that completely wipes out the defender guarding Clark. Reese does the tough work that creates space, and Clark takes advantage of it instantly. She steps back to her left, creates plenty of separation, and launches a deep three from well beyond the arc. The shot drops and Reese celebrates the play. That's what great basketball looks like. Players using their strengths to help each other. Reese brings physical presence and screening power. Clark brings shooting and playmaking. Together, they become difficult for any defense to handle. And if the half-court offense wasn't impressive enough, the transition game in the fourth quarter was even more dangerous. In fast break situations, everything happens quickly. Once a defensive rebound is secured, the defense only has a couple of seconds to get organized. If a point guard slowly walks the ball up the floor, that opportunity disappears. But when the ball gets into the hands of someone who loves to push the pace, the fast break becomes extremely dangerous.
There she is. Gives Caitlin Clark the ball. Caitlin Clark pushing it. Paige already up the... Oh, look at the threading the needle. Sweet. Oh, in between two defenders. Pass was so good that defender almost fell over. Look at that. Pass so...
Watch how this play develops. Kiki Iriafen battles through traffic and grabs a defensive rebound. That alone is impressive. But the key moment happens immediately afterward. She doesn't dribble. She doesn't try to start the offense herself. Instead, she quickly finds the point guard and delivers a clean outlet pass. The second the ball reaches Caitlin Clark, the defense is already scrambling. Paige Bueckers recognizes the situation right away and sprints down the floor toward the basket. Clark pushes the ball forward while reading the defense. Two Italian defenders are positioned right in the passing lane. For most point guards, that would mean pulling the ball back and setting up a half-court play. But Clark sees an opening where others might not. She fires a perfectly timed pass through the narrowest gap. The defender lunges to intercept it but can't get there. The pass reaches Bueckers in stride, leading to an easy finish. When Clark and Bueckers share the floor, the offense looks effortless. The spacing, the pace, and the decision-making create constant pressure on the defense. Looking back at the whole game, the difference between the slow, grinding basketball in the second and third quarters and the fast, flowing offense in the first and fourth quarters came down to one major factor: Caitlin Clark being on the floor. The box score reinforces that point. Clark finished the game with 12 points, 5 assists, and an eye-popping 100% true shooting percentage. In basketball analytics, true shooting percentage measures scoring efficiency by combining field goals, three-pointers, and free throws into one number. A mark over 100% is extremely rare. It means a player is scoring with incredible efficiency on the shots they take. But the statistic that stood out most was the plus-minus. Clark ended the game with a team-high plus 25 rating. That means when she was on the floor, Team USA outscored Italy by 25 points. During her minutes, the team looked dominant. The first quarter surge produced 28 points after she entered, and the fourth quarter saw another offensive burst as she helped close the game. When she sat, the offense struggled to maintain that same flow. The difference between those stretches was hard to ignore. At times it felt like two completely different teams were playing. This brings Team USA to an interesting point moving forward. At some stage, the conversation shifts from tradition and seniority to simple performance. When a player comes in, boosts the pace of the offense, creates better spacing, and produces highly efficient numbers, it naturally raises questions about the rotation. Assistant coach Nate Tibbetts recognized the situation early in this game. He saw the offense struggling and made the adjustment quickly. But ideally, a team shouldn't need a scoring drought to realize which lineup works best. As international competition gets tougher, every decision matters. If Team USA wants to maintain its dominance on the global stage, the coaching staff may eventually need to make a clear choice about who should run the offense. From the opening tip. Thanks for tuning in for this breakdown of the game and the strategy behind it. If you enjoy detailed basketball analysis focused on what actually happens on the court, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And let me know in the comments. Do you think it's time for Caitlin Clark to become the full-time starting point guard for Team USA? I'll catch you in the next breakdown.